When it comes to helping their charities, NHL players Pat LaFontaine and Steve Webb will try almost anything. They recently joined forces at the Hockey Hall of Fame in Toronto for their toughest challenge ever, the goal to cycle to the NHL store in New York City, a 550-mile journey that they will try to complete in just 48 hours. For Steve Webb's W20 Foundation, he rides in support of research for Alzheimer's and dementia. His foundation also works directly with young athletes to promote social responsibility through athlete volunteer work. As for LaFontaine, he's taking this on to support his friend, but as well a way to bring attention to his own charity, Companions in Courage. Their belief is that no child in the fight for life or health should ever have to go through it alone. The organization builds interactive playrooms in hospitals throughout North America.
It's about a great group of guys coming together for a higher purpose. And in our case, the way I look at it, we've done these Ironman events, these triathlons, and it gets tough out there. And what gets us through is as I think of the kids at the Children's Hospital, that's a tough day. That's a tough day. These will be 2 easy days compared to what they have to go through.
The two former Islanders never played NHL hockey at the same time, and their styles couldn't be more different. Webb was known for his tough hands, LaFontaine for his soft hands. Helping others is their common bond.
Let's go, boys. Helmets and clips. Ready to roll. Come on.
At 11 a.m., the journey begins, the clock already winding down from the allotted 48 hours. 2 days, 550 miles to go. The group headed away from Toronto with mild temperatures and plenty of enthusiasm.
Right on! Right on, brother.
However, the weather would change quickly. When you are looking at averaging 275 miles a day, there is little margin for error. Oakville gave way to Burlington, but there were no signs that the rain would give way to the sun anytime soon. In Grimsby, Ontario, the group was invited to a ribbon-cutting ceremony for an outdoor rink donated by one of the team's members, Graham Fraser of Centurion Cycling Canada. It was a welcome break.
Back to the bikes, we gotta get it going.
But only 4 hours into the journey and the team was already behind schedule. As the group neared the U.S. border at Niagara Falls, yet another delay. This time it involved losing a critical team member.
No, I gotta bail. So once we cross the border, I'm just gonna head over to the airport.
An emergency at work meant the loss of Bill ISENBERG, the team's primary RV driver. Just one more thing for the remaining members to deal with. Through it all, however, that rain, it just kept falling. And the team kept falling behind.
We're close. That'll be one leg down, one part of the mission accomplished. But we'll pick up pace here through the night.
We're doing great. Having a ton of fun. I mean, I don't think we're going to let a little rain and wind slow us down.
Brave words indeed. But despite the bravado, LaFontaine and Webb were beginning to struggle. After a few short breaks, they had been riding non-stop for 15 hours. At 2 a.m., the group came to a halt in upper New York State. Then, after just a couple of hours of sleep, Team 48 was preparing for the next leg.
It rained probably for 14 and a half of the first 15 hours of the ride. We stopped for 2 hours, and Webby wants to push on.
Thought we'd try and let the weather clear up a little bit, and then we'll get out and start hammering it, and we'll make adaptations as we go. That's where we're at.
I think it was the right move. It's not raining anymore.
Webb and LaFontaine had logged 175 miles. Both men were exhausted. They were nearing their breaking point.
We don't have to go too crazy, but we're still going to have a good ride. The reality is, the reality is, do you want to get to Toronto, New York? Is it 48 hours?
I'm just going to go ride.
However, both remained committed to making it to New York in under 48 hours. At 4:25 a.m., Jimmy Johnson, the executive director of Companions in Courage, and Steve Webb headed off into the night. It was far from a cohesive unit out of the gate. Steve Webb played 9 years in the NHL, and many credit his stubbornness as one of the main reasons for that success. Clearly, he would need that resolve once again. At 7 a.m., LaFontaine and his wingman, Petey Smith, stepped out of the RV to relieve Webb and Johnson.
That was kind of a rough night.
Oh, you know what? It's all a journey. It's all about life and how lucky we are, the privilege that we are to do this. It's an easy day, and you know what? We're very blessed, and we're doing it for a great cause. And why shouldn't there be a couple bumps in the road, some rain, you know, some tempers? As long as we pull it together and get it done, we will.
All right, boys, we'll see you in a couple.
Behind schedule, but the team had a new focus to get back on track. LaFontaine would work in tandem with a team member. And then there was Webb back out to do the same. By the second evening, the goal was once again looking possible. When Webb and LaFontaine were finally beyond exhaustion and needed a real break, their teammates were ready to keep it going right through the dark, always under the watchful eye of the team support crew, Randy and Chris.
They have to persevere. Rain, wind, weather. There's no saying, you know what, we'll stop and we'll go tomorrow. You gotta go, go, go. And it's not always fun and glamour. It's a lot of hard work. Tempers flare up. There's always gonna be some issues, especially when you're in this kind of pressure situation.
Thanks, guys. Get her done. Thank you.
By 7 a.m., 44 hours after it all began, the team were actually back on schedule, and the final push was on.
A little trouble. We've had probably about 8 or 9 flats along the whole ride, and I think this is our first busted up spoke. So, considering that we've probably traveled about 520 some odd miles, I'd say the spoke business is done pretty well by us.
Just had a spoke pop here. We're changing a tire here, but yeah, no, it's we've had it unbelievable. I never felt that 45 hours could feel like 10 days.
This is the only time you're gonna like New York traffic.
When the team reached the George Washington Bridge, taking them from New Jersey to Manhattan Island, the celebration began.
Thank you.
Jimmy Johnson from Brooklyn!
It's up to you, baby. Forget about
How'd
it.
you get across the border?
With 25 minutes to spare, the team rolled up to the NHL store in downtown New York City. It was mission accomplished.
Set out. 25 minutes to spare right now, so we're kind of happy with that. From where we were in Buffalo probably about 36 hours ago, we weren't looking too good. So it's now to know we did it, we executed, so it's pretty exciting right now.
Awesome. Woo! Hey, it's pal.
And as a result of their 550-mile ride from Toronto to New York City, Team 48 have raised nearly $50,000. And while the ride is over, Steve Webb and Pat LaFontaine's efforts will continue.